Now the question is Paul involved? The next thing I did was to involve a lawyer. I knew it was a fight. When I got a lawyer, I still gave it a chance. I approached Paul once again in his house. I said, Paul, I pray say this you don't know about that. I said, what am I talking about? I said, better you come clean. Trust me. So what do I mean? Who do plus and minus? Whatever I don't take from me, no problem. We'll calculate them. Tell me how I'll get them. We'll sell our catalog, remove my money, give me. I don't want problem. Say to me, he doesn't know what I'm talking about. He walked up. That shows that he doesn't know anything. The lawyer came. We prepared a petition. In that petition, he now made a petition against Paul and Jude. I said, no. Paul's not involved here. I said, remove Paul's name. He removed it. I said, remove Jude's name. See, they don't understand. I said, remove Jude's name. Focus on the company, not side music. So the petition was against Northside Music. That's why even in court, the case is about concerning Northside Music and federal government. When I wrote that petition, it took the law enforcement agency at least 6 months to investigate. I'm not sure if you guys remember after my open letter and the whole EFCC, when I talked about the EFCC, when I posted about it, how Jude came on live to say that he was shocked that I wrote petition against him and I still came to his house to play with his kids. That's how wicked I am. No, Jude. Point of correction. I took the company that you claim you have nothing, you know nothing about, you and Paul. I wrote petition against the company. I needed answers. So 6 months after the law enforcement agency finished their, investigation, Jude was then invited to their office because they now discovered that, of course, that the company is actually owned by him. Not just him and his wife. Paul was invited for questioning. What the letter said, dear Mr. Paul, please, there's an ongoing investigation going on. Please, we need your help to help us fast track the investigation. That's what they called. They sent for Paul. And they sent it for Paul to come on a different day. Unfortunately, he decided to go to EFCC with Jude at the same day. Of course, they took them to separate rooms. Apparently, they asked Paul, who owns Northside Entertainment? Paul said it's owned by us, 3 of us. Correct. Paul, who owns Northside Inc.? Paul said, Jude. Mr. Paul, who now owns Northside Music?
I was that the kind of question he started asking himself. I wasn't comfortable. I said, what is this?
Oh, why are they asking this question? Blah, blah, blah. Paul now says he's affiliated to Jude. That was how Jude was arrested. I was thinking Paul will come to me and say, hey, guy, now brother be this. See. When Jude was detained, unfortunately, he was detained on his birthday. He got bail that night. So after like about 4 or 5 days or so, the head of I think the zonal head of the law enforcement agency decided to call for a meeting. I came for that meeting. Myself, 2 of my lawyers, and my manager. Paul and Jude came alone. No legal team. We sat down. While the man was trying to see if we can come to an agreement, Paul said something that was shocking. While they were trying to find out how, they told Jude, do you know you committed a crime? And Jude said, yes. In his own word. Quote me. Both Jude affidavit, both the statement, he admitted he diverted money. PSquare phone. I don't have water in my mouth. Only for Paul to say in EFCC, this is the biggest betrayal I've never received in my life. Paul told the EFCC, sir, PSquare. This is PSquare. Me and Peter are the face. Oh, God. Paul, or maybe can someone explain to me how Jude is PSquare, or how Jude owns PSquare? Jude have never invested 1 naira in PSquare. There is no contract whatsoever that we had. And the only document that just goes around showing everybody is the MOU we all signed in 2016. The same document I said that was my financial freedom. The MOU stated a sharing formula. And guess what? It's renewable every year. So in 2016, 2017, it has expired. And even the 3 ways that we share was just based on family. After all, our first manager was on percentage. Second, our mom wasn't on anything. Of course, she's our mom. The real manager that we actually employed, Hawiti, was taking 10%. You came out of brotherly love. We're sharing 3 ways. All of a sudden, you own PSquare. Paul, how? Paul went to City FM, granted an interview. In that interview, never for once did he tell the world that petition was against Jude or maybe Northside Music. Paul said with his own mouth, watch this.
I was invited by the EFCC. A real petition against me and my other brother. And I did not expect, I never thought it would come to this part. I thought it was just music thing. Then next thing, people are telling me, what did you do? Somebody say you're going to go to jail 20 years. They're going to lock you up. What did I do? Okay, I got there. Okay, what is it? They told me everything. They've already printed on my account statement, everything, put it on the table. I explained this. First of all, what entered my mind, what if I was a bad person? I'm even doing one dubious like a Yahoo boy. I saw this guy don't just finish me. But I took it. And then they started investigation. I was there. That was the kind of question they started asking myself. I wasn't comfortable anymore. I said, what is this? Then, when I knew it was a bit kind of serious, was when I said, you have to get the shorty, you have to get the lawyer, you have to get this. I said, what? Look at Paul telling people that I wrote petition against him, Paul. He even said they told him to bring the shorty. Obviously, that means he was detained. I didn't respond to that. 2-3 weeks, the fans criticized me. In fact, I'm sure if they wanted to kill me, they would kill me. I did not respond. I was there for 2.5 weeks. After Paul granted that interview, never for once did he say that the petition was for Jude. He said
that I wrote petition against him and our elder brother. That they told him to bring shorty. Obviously, that means they seized your passport. Let me tell you what Paul did. He went to grant interview. Everything that happened to Jude, you claim it was you that it happened to. Paul, what are you hiding? Paul, what are you hiding? Now, Paul still claimed that. Now, watch this part. He said that they cleared him, but they didn't come and apologize.
1 month ago, they called me, they called him, they called other brother. Say, first of all, we have to say that after all investigation, Paul is innocent, first, and Paul is cleared. Everything you accuse him of, we've done an investigation, no. After they told you every time the truth came out that I was innocent, what would you do if you're done? What the next thing you do? I'm sorry.
Simple.
I didn't know.
Simple. So there was no I'm sorry from your brother?
Never.
Paul, you were never cleared. Because your name was not even there in the first place. You're not even a director. EFCC did their investigation and found out that the director of this Northside Music was Jude and his wife. In fact, Jude's wife owns 800,000 shares. Jude owns 200. I laugh when they say, oh, the woman caused their wahala. Now that way marry a Yoruba woman. My wife have never gotten involved in PSquare's affair. Let's assume it was Lola and I that owned that company. And Lola owned 800,000. I'm gonna go crucify her. You think I'm lying? Look at it. Signed by the commissioner himself. CAC. Jude owns 200,000. Look at it. His wife owns 800,000 shares. The company that diverted PSquare millions of dollars. I don't want to mention the amount, but I'm going to say it before the end of this video. Stick around. Now, after Paul finished granting our interview, 2.5 weeks, I wrote an open letter and I spoke about the EFCC matter. When I put it out there, I challenged Paul if he can prove there was a petition against him. Paul now went live. Watch this.
So let me start, like I said, let me start with the EFCC. Peter said he met me one time and he told me about diversion this, diversion that. Now let me clear something. If you open the petition Peter wrote, I guarantee you, in the front page, my name is not there.
Wait. In front of the petition, your name is not there. If I write petition against you, Paul, the first name you will see is your name. Okay, no problem. Let's continue.
If you open inside the petition, you will see.
Wait. In front of the petition, your name is not there. Inside the petition, your name is not there. So who was the petition for Paul? Paul, who was the... Because even, you know why? Even if he mentioned that the petition was for Jude, the petition has Northside Music. They have to include Jude. After they find out he was the owner of the company, him and his wife. And you tell me this is not a betrayal? Family do not steal from family. You tell me we are blood. Blood do not steal from blood. I hear people say you hate your brother that much. Tell me how I hate my brother. Who started this hatred? If 3 of us were making this money normally, was that going to be a problem? Why did you wake up one morning and start stealing from me? Now, listen to Paul in the same City FM.
I'm not speaking up because I want to bring anybody down, but I'm speaking up because the accusation was even more like he sold PSquare catalog that is his share. The same catalog that I hear saying it, but the same catalog that I produced, I wrote, 99% me, 99%. Yeah, sometimes the fans don't like me saying it. Like I said, I'm saying it now. 99% of the song is me.
Listen, he said, that me they write, that me they sing all the song. 99%. Mr. 99%, you went to EFCC now to tell them that PSquare is Jude, me and you are the face. EFCC man now said, Paul, prove it. Paul brought CAC document of Northside Entertainment. I said, this is it. That Jude owned 40 in PSquare, Peter and Paul owned 30 that. The EFCC man said, look at it and said, Northside Entertainment. Paul said, Paul, show me where PSquare is written inside this document. Inside the CAC document. Paul said, but that's what we used to run in PSquare. The man said, where is the contract between Northside Entertainment and PSquare? Paul now brought in resolution that we did in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, about sharing formula, where they made it look like if the PSquare are Peter, Paul, and Jude. But remember one time I was smart. That document is renewable every single year. Every single year. How we're going to be sharing money. Those are the period where I can boast. That document, you see that resolution? That document was my financial freedom. That was the first time I would do show like this. I have millions in my account. I never had millions. Because how I collect money is, as I said earlier, I want to pay my children's school fees, 15 million, they'll give me a check, 15 million, Paul take 15 million. That's how we've been living. Have you guys noticed that anytime PSquare break up, it didn't like saying that Peter they come back. Because when PSquare breaks up, I can't access money. Peter becomes broke. Today I'm the bad egg. I'm not clear for myself. Like I said, hope this thing what they do, Muna go collect her. Una fit take 1% of her. I said, they thought this one would insult me, but I am used to it. No amount, see, let me repeat it again. No amount of insult is reduce success. Lie. Go check her. No matter how they don't try to hate me for this PSquare matter, no amount could stop this success. They created a narrative. How do you guys feel? They stole from me. They discredited all my effort. They told you guys I was talentless. Paul claimed 99%. I'm sure the remaining 1%, he even gave it to Jude. Let me ask you a question. PSquare was here. I'm talking to Paul now. And all of you that are supporting this madness because of you think it's blood. PSquare was here. Davido, Bonapo, everybody was here. Don't get me wrong, PSquare no trouble. We're still there here. These guys all went and overthrown us. Mr. 99% how far? Are you not supposed to be competing with these guys? Are you not supposed to be selling out stadium like they do? Oh. Today they compare me and you. With all the 99% where you get. Some people they support rubbish. Why not they continue? I reported the company that both of you denied. Despite I knew it was you, Jude. When they told me, Peter, are you sure you want to hear what happened? I said, what? They said everything you told us in your petition is true, is even more than. I said, okay. Here is this. How do you feel? I said, I can't wait to leave and go and meet Paul and tell him what I discovered. He said, you don't have to go there. That Paul is involved.